So, oh, God of War. God of War was
talking about better games.
Yeah, well, yes. Well, there's a bit of
sufficiently better, like massively better.
yes. Well, it's whatever that. But God of War was last not well. Obviously, when it was this God of War Ragnarok, as people are taken to calling it. Honestly, every time I hear any Norse buzzword at this point, I just want to throw myself out a window. But no, that's what it's been taken to being called, and it's probably what it would logically be called. It's like creativity goes out the window. If it's Norse related, it's Ragnarok, Valhalla.
That's true. Viking.
Viking.
Drengr.
Yeah, they
God
should
of
call
War
it.
Drengr.
They should call it that, and you fight the blood-soaked Drengr.
That's what we're working with, And so a year ago, we got the release window of 2021. Confirmation yesterday from Santa Monica Studio is that is now been shifted. That release window to 2022, and according to a recent PlayStation blog as well, it will be coming to the PS4. It will be cross-gen.
It will be.
The delay
delay
of release window, not so much a problem. The cross-gen argument holds a lot more weight as something to talk about, because people who got so the PS5 released was it November at this point? I can't remember.
Yeah, like 8 months ago. Yeah.
And there are two sides
to
to this argument, but I understand the frustrations of PS5 owners, because the PS5 technology, it boasts haptic feedback on the controller, all sorts of stuff that only solid state drives can do. Like, this could change the landscape of gaming, if you will, is having SSDs be the norm. And unfortunately PS4s don't have that, so for a game to be cross-gen means that it's fundamentally designed to be held back by the previous generation. And so that's so much of a thing at this point, where it looks like it's going to continue to be a thing into 2022, or at least that's what Sony expects, if they're confirming that this God of War is coming in 2022 instead of 2021, and it will still be cross-gen. So we're looking at a bigger cross-gen period than we got
the last gen,
than
ever before.
Which is
because by
ridiculous.
2015, you weren't getting new Xbox 360 or PS3 games, were you?
No.
No,
and if you were, it was mostly just like third-party stuff, like
FIFA. I mean, FIFA was being released on the PS2 until like 2015 or something mental like that.
Yeah,
Wait,
but
what?
it's like they still released on the PS2 for a long time. It was
Wait,
weird.
FIFA
I think it was
15
actually
PS2.
later than that. I think it was. I honestly
uh,
think it was like 2019.
Please tell
maybe.
me,
The PS2 game.
the last FIFA on the PS2.
FIFA 14 was the last
okay.
game for the PlayStation 2.
Why did they
Yeah.
release FIFA 14 on the PS2
It's wild, isn't it?
Okay, so
EA.
that's what FIFA's been doing. That is just dumb. That is just stupid.
It's wild.
The PS2 is a banging console, but by that point, it was deader than my fucking granddad.
Yeah, there's 2 other console releases by that point, and they were still going.
Yeah.
Classic EA. They're mental. They don't make any.
So outside of
rational
exceptional circumstances, it's
Yes,
safe to say that this generation, this cross-gen period, if you will, is looking to be quite a big one.
Which is very strange.
It's almost like every generation, at the beginning of every generation, people are less and less like happy about buying a new console. It's like
suppose
you've
so.
had fucking nearly a decade to get the money to buy. Obviously now at this point it's a little bit different. It's like there is a shortage of consoles. But still,
I suppose,
at this current point, more people own PS5s and owned PS4s when the PS4 came
so
out.
it's exactly the same. The situation is the same. Things aren't different, really. And I can understand there being maybe a little bit longer of a crossover period. Maybe a little bit. A year, maybe. Because of the pandemic. But beyond that, like, if you're releasing a next-gen console, let's have next-gen games. Imagine if The Witcher 3, which came out in 2015, 2 years after the PS4 and Xbox One launched, came out on the 360 and PS3. Imagine if we saw Bloodborne coming out on the PS3. Or, Until Dawn or whatever, or Star Wars Battlefront. Like, it's just so weird. The Order 1886. Imagine the Order 1886 came out on the PS3. It's just so weird that we're not getting these next-gen games, especially for these these big titles. Especially when Sony said, I've got a quote here, so it was from Jim Ryan, PlayStation CEO, back in May of 2020, said, He wants developers to make the most of PS5's hardware and isn't interested in making PS5 games run on PS4. And then there was also that quote: "They're dedicated to generations."
Who was it that said who wants to play old games on next gen on PS5? I swear that was a quote from someone.
I think
like,
that
who
might
wants
have
to
been
play old
it-
games?
I find it a
Mine
little
too.
odd, right, that the PS5 boasts this technology that could revolutionize, what gaming actually looks like and how it plays. And you've got what games have come out that on the PS5 that actually make use of the technology. You've got
Demon's
Returnal,
Souls.
you've got Demon's Souls, you've got I suppose Rift Apart, which is this Ratchet and Clank thing that's coming in on the 11th.
That'll be good.
That'll slap. That looks like how you remember the
trying
Ratchet
to think
and
of
Clank
what
games.
other games.
And the Astro's Playroom.
Sort of.
If you have
Yeah.
to,
That's a
if you
sick
have to
game.
list the demo, the PS5,
Yeah,
the
it's-
PS5 technological demo that you can play on the PS5 as one of
I mean,
those.
I'd say
things,
maybe The
you're in
Last of
trouble.
Us 2 60 FPS patch, but it's still
anything
a PS4
anything
game.
that's got that cross-gen on it, like, it's more than likely not gonna do things. And also, now this is another thing that's happening, is a lot of new games are coming out and they don't actually have current gen versions. They don't have PS5 versions or
they're just on
Xbox
PS4.
Series X versions. You just have PS4 versions and stuff
Really?
like that.
And you're running
yeah,
it.
like the Mass Effect Legendary
yeah.
Edition came out. That was a PS4 game, and I'm playing on the PS5. It's fine. Obviously, there are some performance bumps and stuff like that, but it's still just the PS4 version. It's still not making use of that technology.
They've really fucking
They
lied.
fucked this launch. They fucked this next gen launch because not only are they fucking the whole next gen, they've just lied. And like Xbox are doing way better because they didn't lie at any point. They never lied that they were going to make Xbox Series X games. It was
listen,
always going to be
I-
cross-gen, and that was what they were
I
going
purchased an Xbox Series S to play games from like 2 generations back. Red Dead Redemption, Fable 3, Fable 2, and I've been fucking loving it.
for. It's good shit.
I know that there's not going to be any Xbox exclusives that I'll give a shit about, barring maybe Halo, and even then I just won't bother.
Play it on PC.
Just play it on PC, yeah, exactly. I know there's not going to be any exclusives that I care about until the next Fable or whatever, and then even then that'll probably come to PC too. But you know how it goes. All I'm saying is, I've had a lot of fun with the Series S with all the backwards compatibility perks, and then the PS5, which I suppose PlayStation's always boasted good exclusives, and that hasn't gone anywhere. That's not the issue. The issue is they're almost being restricted by the fact that the PS4 is still in the picture, and I understand why it would be, because it seems like it wasn't the right time to release a new console. It just seems like they've done this a bit too early, and the end result is, and the only reason they did it is to keep up with say Xbox, because they didn't have to worry about. It's a non-problem. You don't have to compete with Xbox because Xbox doesn't have a fucking clue, and they're doing a different thing. My point is, I feel like they've done this. They've done this a year early, and as a result of jumping the gun, shit's a bit
fan.
shit. And I think people who own PlayStation 5s are rightfully pissed off that there aren't enough games on that console that justifies that console existing, and or at least yet.
Like Ratchet and Clank isn't going to be enough.
And at the same time, I feel like people who don't have a PS5 and likely won't be able to get a hold of one despite trying for like another 6 months to a year, which is how it's looking.
It's ridiculous.
It's looking
still.
like it. If they're still releasing games on the PS4 by 2022, then I'd imagine Sony expects this shortage to be an issue until then as well.
It's weird because like the PS4 Pro released 2 years after the normal PS4.
Was it 2 years? I thought it was 3.
Yeah, it was.
It was
It was 2016.
It was
Yeah, it was 2016. So we might only get a year of like normal base PS5 usage for like next gen games before they release another console.
The PS5 Pro.
Can you
I mean, I think
imagine?
they'll do that shit. I think
That
they'll
would be
do that.
so fucked if we
And it's
see
like everyone
like,
that bought a PS5, it was practically pointless because we've already got a new better
Yeah.
one. Like,
My God,
it's-
could you imagine this? This
they've-
console generation doesn't even feel like a generation. Like, there's no reason for me to have this console.
well, it's because people really want to hold on to their previous consoles, and that's become a thing that I think is more prevalent. Like I remember when the Xbox One was coming out, and people were like, "No, I want to keep the 360. I don't want to fucking buy a new
people
one."
a lot. So I remember seeing that a lot of people were like, "No, I really hope this game comes out on the 360," and I'm like, "But it's next gen now. Like that's just how it works. Like
Yeah,
when
like if
went
you
from
want
the
to
Xbox to the 360, it was exciting. Same from PS2 to PS3, and then you go PS3 to PS4. Like it's an exciting jump. Why do people want to hold it back? I get that you don't want to buy this new
It's
console.
a finance thing, isn't it?
It's just
It all comes down to affordability.
You've had years to save up though. You knew one was coming out. Like I don't
I
understand.
suppose, but there's no
They
obligation.
get announced
If
like
you
a
want one
year
then,
or so behind.
It's like it's just not. You just can't join in then. Like you can't just hold back the rest of the industry because you're not going to be
Yeah.
able to buy one. I just feel like it's just. I don't know. I feel like you can't just be like, right, we have to wait now.
Yeah, no.
So we release the PS5 and then we wait 2-3 years until everyone's got one before we start even using it. It's just a weird. It's a weird concept
waste.
that people seem to voice more and more these days. And it's like, look, when the PS5 comes out, start bringing out PS5 games. It really is just that simple. I
Leave
think
those
there should
cunts
be
in the dust.
a reason for my investment.
Please.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want PS5 games. I don't want PS4
I understand
games.
why there is a cross-gen period. Like,
So I understand why.
but I
it's just
think the
it's
issue with
dumb.
this game, God of War, coming out in 2022, is the implication that we will still be in this cross-gen period over a year after this console's released, and it's like, well,
a game that
Exactly,
should really
exactly.
be like a PS5 hardware. Like, look at this.
Yeah,
it's
like
got-
look what
at
a
this,
PS5
what
can
mate.
do. Yeah,
But
know,
instead, it's just
not.
it's just the next step up from God of War
I believe
2018.
Horizon
just
Forbidden
slightly
West is
improved.
also coming to the PS4, isn't it?
It is.
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
it
yeah.
is, which is also another thing
bit
that
peak,
pisses me
that.
off. It's just ridiculous. It's like two of the games, the PS4 exclusive. I mean, PlayStation exclusive. They are fucking PS4 exclusives.
Yeah.
Like PlayStation exclusives that I was looking forward to, are now going to be held back by just pointlessly, really, needlessly.
It just makes me feel that my purchase of a PS5 was just a little bit like not worth doing. And I think that looking at God of War and Horizon Forbidden West and the fact that they're coming out on the PS4 and the PS5, it just feels so strange that they've decided to do. I mean, like look at like the third-party games have always had that sort of cross-gen period. First-party games haven't as much or ever really. You've never really seen this cross-gen, especially 2 years into a new console release. I mean, look at like E3 2014. What were we seeing? We were seeing Shadow of Mordor, Assassin's Creed Unity. We were seeing The Witcher 3 being shown off, and like these Batman Arkham Knight, like that were being shown off in like 2014 and then coming out 2014 and 2015. It was these big next gen games, and like a lot of those that I listed, they're all third party. And it's like even the third party games were doing like, this is a next gen exclusive, like we're showing what the next gen hardware can do. Like Batman Arkham Knight is the next Batman game, and we're showing what it can do on next gen. And like, it's just so weird that we're not getting that now. They're just like, it's just another game. It's almost like next gen consoles just didn't come out. They're just treating it
Maybe
like
it's
the
just
same.
the
Some
effects of
games
capitalism are getting
and
worse.
back to what I said before, some games just aren't even releasing with PS5 or current gen
yeah.
versions. Yeah, it's like the PS5 doesn't
Cyberpunk,
exist half the
Mass
time.
Effect.
No,
That's so weird. What do they do?
I think
Yeah,
I
it's
think
weird, isn't
Sony
it?
didn't. I think Sony might have actually not given developers much of a heads up on this one either as well. Like dev kits and stuff like that. I don't think they got handed out until late by the looks of it. I don't know if that's
Maybe
the
they're
case.
scared that Xbox is just gonna beat them, so they're like, "Fuck."
I don't
fuck,
think
we
they.
need
I
some-
don't
would
we
they
think
need-
they
be,
are. I think
Because they have Game Pass, and Game Pass makes it really worth it to buy an Xbox. I think that's like one of the big things. Like, there's no exclusives that I want to buy, but having nice enhanced versions of games that I really love, that's like a selling point to me. Like, I feel like I'm missing out by not buying an Xbox. I don't have one. I've only got an Xbox One.
Yeah, I do love having Xbox because it's just so easily accessible. I'm like, I want to play a game. I probably have it somewhere on Xbox, and it's also the best version of that game you can play.
Exactly.
It's so well optimized. It's so well like boosted in, and they're doing like FPS boosts now. Like even if the publisher the game doesn't allow for it, Xbox can do it now and boost
That's
these FPS of these
amazing.
games.
That's
and so
cool.
like you're able to play things now, like games that came out 10, 20 years ago in 4K 60 FPS on Xbox on Game Pass, and it's like, yeah, this is a great place to play video games just day
It's
to
a
day.
good purchase. Yeah, it's good.
So
It's like a
Xbox
good
is
archive.
really good at what they do.
Yeah.
they know that backwards compatibility is an area that that PlayStation isn't necessarily touching as well, and they're sort of using that to their advantage
Yeah,
in
they
a way
are.
that I
They
kind of
are.
appreciate. Because old games, you know, you either plug in your old console or you try to play it on PC and encounter all the issues that entails.
Yeah.
If it works on it with an Xbox, it just works. It just happens. You know, it's just bang,
Yeah.
playing it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that to me makes much more sense.
It's plug and play.
It's plug
That's
and
what it
play.
is.
It's very simple, and Sony's always boasted these exclusives. That I almost had a stroke there. These exclusives they've always boasted, and with a new console, you'd expect exclusives that show you what that fucking console can do, as that's what was sold to us. So look at all the cool shit this console can do. We're not going to actually do that for a couple of years yet.
It's
but
weird,
here's the
isn't it?
technology.
And,
It's
like,
like
you
we're
see
the
some
fucking
bits.
test.
It's like you get Ratchet and Clank and Demon Souls, and like they show it a bit, but like they haven't even
Returnal.
like bigged it up as like, look at what our console can do. They just like seem like these weird games that are like pushed to the side,
Yeah.
and they're like, but look at the PS4 ones, like Horizon Forbidden West and God of War, like they get so much more publicity than like a Demon Souls did.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a remaster remake, but like it's still like it's a PS5 game. It didn't come out on the PS4, so
Yeah.
it's. But no one really spoke about it very much. It kind of just died really quick.
Miles Morales came out on both as well.
It did come out
Yeah.
on both, yeah.
It's
yeah,
another
yeah.
one that could have been like. I guess sort of makes more sense for that game, but it could have been a PS5 exclusive,
Yeah.
but they decided not to.
I
decided
wonder.
against it.
I wonder if the next Spider-Man will be a PS5 or whether it will be both. Do you think
I'd
they're trying to
hope-
push
hope-
it even more?
I hope it'll just be one exclusive.
I would hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, I would hope
But
it'd be on
who
PS5.
knows, man? It's one of those things where like I expected Horizon Forbidden West, God of War to be PS5 games, and they just weren't, weirdly. And so it's like, oh, I wonder what they're doing with Spider-Man. Will Spider-Man be the first PS5 game that's, you know, of these big
About
big
6
hitters,
years
or...
from now, Spider-Man.
Oh my god! It's
They just need
such
to
a
release
weird
Bloodborne 2
situation.
and have it as like
Bloodborne
big
2.
PS5.
I'd love
Isn't
a
it
good-
mad
I'd
that a
love
game
that.
like Bloodborne is not supported properly on like next gen or even PS4 Pro? Like it's not 60
Yeah,
FPS.
no
Like how
60
weird is
FPS.
that?
That's
like
from
Xbox
software,
would have
though.
been right like straight away. Like we're immediately this is going 4K 60 because
yeah,
we
this is a
can.
big game that everyone loves. Let's
Yeah.
fucking do it. Yeah,
It's just weird
weird.
that PlayStation don't like to support their old games.
I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn doesn't have a patch either. It's 30
no,
FPS
I
still.
expected that. Yeah, I expected to see at this like event showing off Forbidden West that Zero
Yeah.
Dawn would get a PS5 patch, but it just
But
didn't.
no. I mean, they
Um,
literally could probably do it very easily.
They probably
Yeah.
They could do it so easily.
Yeah, it can't be that hard to unlock frame rate and just make sure it's stable and then, you know,
Yeah.
put it
Yeah.
out on
Now,
PS5.
now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure these games will still be, you know, jaw-dropping in a lot of ways, but there
Yeah,
won't be
definitely.
as much as they could have. And I suppose that people are understandably disappointed at this ball and chain that, you know, is the last generation, and it doesn't even feel like an elephant in the room at this point.